it is Demo Donna with Paper Wizard, and in this video I am going to be showing you how to assemble this block. In the kit you are going to receive all of the pieces pre-cut out, ready to go. Remember, be very careful with taking them apart. And a bonus gift from Paper Wizard, you are going to receive all of the pre-laser cut papers for your fabulous assembly. So let's put this together. Here is the materials that you will be getting in the June kit for your block calendar. I did want to note that some of the cardstocks may vary due to limited quantities, but yours will be similar to this. Okay, to get started, I am going to use my heat tool to go ahead and loosen my wooden pieces. You're going to want to be careful not to break your pieces. So like skinnier ones like this are much easier to break. So if that does happen, you can always glue your piece together. But if you approach this with a gentle hand and use your heat tool to loosen up the glue dots, you should have no problems. All right, so I am going to start with my heat tool, and I am going to start on this cute popsicle here. So I am just going over and warming up that giant glue dot. It is much easier to remove my piece here. So I've got this removed. I can go ahead and set it aside. I'm going to let that glue dot cool a little bit before I try to remove the leftover adhesive. Since this is still pretty warm, I can actually pull off this top piece as well as the bottom piece here by just doing that spinning technique and then pull over to the side. If it's too rough and it's not going easy, you could heat it up again. And now to remove that additional adhesive, I am going to start by gumming it up together, and then I am going to be doing a pouncing technique to lift up most of the adhesive. If there is a little bit left behind but it's flat, don't worry about that because it's adhesive and we're going to be needing adhesive to put our kit together. So I am just doing the pounce, and then there we go. I pretty much got most of my adhesive off. I'm going to come back to what I set aside, and then I'm going to repeat on my other two popsicles by gently removing my adhesive. Now that I have all of my glue dots removed, I am going to start by placing on my backing paper, and I have added some red liner tape on the top and the bottom, and this is a strip of 1/2 inch red liner tape. And then I'm going to be using my craft glue to add some adhesive all over my paper as well. So I'm going to start by doing it around the border. I'm going to add some extra adhesive to my strips of red liner tape so I still have the ability to move it around, and I'm going to add some to the back. All right, now that I have adhesive all over the back, I am going to go ahead and hover over my board here with my cardstock, place that down. You have a little wiggle room time, and there we go. My time is up. I'm just gonna smooth that out, flip that over, add my 4 adhesive magnetic strips. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then all 4 of my magnetic strips are done. I'm gonna flip that over, set this aside, and start to assemble my adorable ice cream cones. I am gonna start with my cute little round popsicle here, and I'm going to first place this over, make sure I have the front or the back. So I did need to flip my piece over. Glad I checked that first. And then I have got my red liner tape. I'm going to add some adhesive and then drop that down. So remove the backing, take my craft glue Right now that I have my glue, I am just going to place it on top of my popsicle here and make sure I have that where I want it before I push that down. There we go. Next, I'm going to take my next piece. Again, I'm going to start with positioning it first. I needed to flip that over. Add my adhesive, place that down. There we go. And then my next piece, I actually did snap it when I was removing my adhesive, and it's funny because this is the one I told you to be careful about. So you have, this was just a snap and not a break, but if I were to have broken this, I probably would have just glued it. So you have two options. You can glue it back together if it's a small piece like this, or you can even just take your cardstock and add that to your piece if you don't want to mess with your broken piece. But since this was just snapped, I am going to go ahead and still use my piece once I figure out, there we go. So make sure you have your orientation correct. And I am going to just go ahead and add some glue right over my break, as well as the rest of the piece here. Add my laser cut paper, and that is still a little crooked, so while that's gluing on there, I am straightening it out so it's gonna dry straight. And I have a little glue marks from my fingers, so I am gonna take my little glue eraser here and just erase that off and place my piece here in position. Take my glue, so before I glue it down, I hover it in the right spot. There we go. And then I'm going to take this piece here. Again, you can add some additional red liner tape for extra security. So there is popsicle number 1. So cute, and I love the thickness. All right, set that aside, and we are gonna do our ice cream cone. So I am going to start by gluing down the base. I've got some red liner tape. Go ahead and add your craft glue. Once you've added your craft glue, hover that over. And there we go, drop that down. Now I'm going to place all my ice cream pieces down, make sure I have them positioned correctly. Okay, now that I've gone ahead and glued all of my ice cream pieces, we are gonna go ahead and layer them. So I am gonna start with my chocolate layer, and make sure before you start gluing that you do have all of your layers positioned correctly. There is a correct way. So just to avoid needing to attempt to rip things apart if you've got the layering wrong, make sure you start with the layered paper, then glue. I've got my vanilla and now my strawberry layer. Looks like a pretty delicious ice cream cone to me. And I'm gonna take that decorative piece for my cone here and layer that down. And now I've got my popsicle and my ice cream cone done. And now we are going to work on our adorable watermelon popsicle. So I'm gonna make sure all my papers match up, and I'm gonna glue them down. For our last adorable little watermelon popsicle, I am now gonna glue all of my pieces on. There is my first layer. There we go. And then I'm gonna take my green rind layer and add that right on. And then you have 5 seeds. So, you know, it's really up to you. Do you want a seedy watermelon or just to add a couple? So I'm going to take my one up there, and then I think I'm going to do one there, and I think that's going to be it for me. I'm going to go light on my seeds. I'm going to do 3 little seeds there. And now I'm going to add all of my ice cream layers to my board here. And this would be a great time too if you wanted to add additional embellishments or add some additional paper from your stash. I am going to take my triple layer ice cream cone. I've got that red liner tape. I removed the backing, and now I'm going to go ahead and add some of my craft glue. And I'm going to start with my beautiful ice cream cone here in the center. And then I'm going to take my 2 additional really fun, perfect for summer, for your June block calendar. Add your adhesive. And I am going to put all 3 of them facing in. You can also do just straight up and down like I had in my original sample, which I'll show you. So that's the fun thing about this, is you can get creative, put your personal twist on things, or you can follow the samples. Love having those options. There we go. So here are 2 different options here. You can go straight up and down, or you can face everything towards the middle. And there is your June block countdown kit. You can find this kit as well as others at paperwiz.net.